Welcome back to our CES 2025 coverage. I'm coming to you live from day 3, and let me tell you, this show is absolutely mind-blowing. If you thought previous days were packed with innovation, today took things to a whole new level. Before we dive into all the crazy gadgets and groundbreaking tech, let's talk about something special that happened this morning. The Consumer Technology Association is celebrating its 100th anniversary this year. That's a century of pushing the boundaries of innovation. Gary Shapiro, CTA's CEO, kicked things off with a powerful message: collaboration is key. He even dropped some knowledge from his new book, Pivot or Die, which really captures what CES is all about. Either you embrace the future, or you get left behind. The show floor today was buzzing with everything from AI-powered home devices that'll blow your mind, to car prototypes that look straight out of a sci-fi movie. We've got a lot to cover. So grab your favorite beverage, get comfortable, and let's jump into the biggest reveals and quirkiest innovations from day 3. Let's kick things off with what I think was the biggest showstopper of the day, the transportation tech. You remember that Sony-Honda collaboration, AFEELA, that got everyone talking last year? I got an up-close look at their latest EV, and folks, this thing is pretty impressive. We're talking about 300 miles of range, cutting-edge LiDAR sensors, and an interior that makes my apartment look outdated. But here's what really caught my attention. They've integrated ChatGPT 4.0 as the car's AI assistant. Imagine having a natural conversation with your car about traffic or directions. Oh, and if you're wondering about the price tag, it's starting around $90,000. Not exactly budget-friendly, but hey, that's cutting-edge tech for you. Honda wasn't done stealing the spotlight, though. They rolled out their Series 0 concept vehicles, both a saloon and an SUV. If you thought the Tesla Cybertruck was edgy, these designs will blow your mind. Honda's going all in with their new thin, light, and wise design philosophy, aiming to launch these sleek EVs by 2026. And speaking of mind-blowing car tech, BMW just had to show off their next-gen panoramic iDrive, a full windshield-width heads-up display showing everything from your speed to navigation. It's heading to their electric NOA class lineup. Though I've got to warn you traditional button lovers, physical controls might be becoming a thing of the past. Now, speaking of the future of transportation, you've got to hear about what Delta Airlines brought to CES. Their CEO, Ed Bastian, showed up with some game-changing announcements that might actually make air travel less of a headache. They're rolling out something called Delta Concierge, an AI-powered voice assistant built right into their Fly Delta app. But they didn't stop there. They've also partnered with Uber, so now you can earn Delta miles just by taking rides. Alright, let me tell you about something that literally had everyone stopping in their tracks: the Displace TV. It is completely wireless, no power cord, nothing. This thing runs on batteries and uses some crazy active suction technology to stick to your wall. And it takes just 10 seconds to mount, and if the battery runs low, it doesn't just crash to the ground. The system's smart enough to slowly release itself. Yeah, it costs a pretty penny, but it's exactly the kind of innovation that makes CES worth watching. Speaking of display innovation, Pocketbook dropped something called the Ink Poster that's pretty mind-blowing. Think of it like a massive e-ink canvas for digital art that actually looks like real ink on paper. They're offering different sizes, starting at $599 for the small one. But if you want the Big Daddy version, you're looking at 4 figures. But for art enthusiasts who want to switch up their wall art, it's pretty revolutionary. The TV giants weren't sitting this one out either. Panasonic unveiled their Z795B OLED, and they're claiming it's their brightest yet, thanks to some fancy new panel technology and enhanced cooling. Early looks suggest it's actually living up to the hype, even outshining their previous flagship. Samsung jumped in with their S95F QD OLED, but they're not just focusing on picture quality. They've beefed up their home AI integration with Bixby and added some clever automatic picture optimization based on your room's lighting. And if you're into ambient lighting, Nanoleaf's 4D V2 is worth checking out. It's basically a super flexible light strip that syncs with your TV content, and installation is a breeze since you don't need any corner brackets. Speaking of smart home tech, things are getting wild. First up, there's this mind-bending coffee maker from Cara Water Inc. called the Cara Pod. It literally pulls moisture from the air to brew your morning coffee. Yeah, you heard that right. It's like a dehumidifier that makes espresso. And for all you craft beer enthusiasts, Igulu showed up with what's basically a Keurig for beer. Pop in your ingredients, hit a button, and the machine handles all the complicated stuff like fermentation. Now for the garden geeks, Garden's showing off this super sleek hydroponic system that's like having a personal farmer in your house. It automates everything from lighting to watering, so even if you've got a black thumb, you can still grow your own herbs and veggies. And if you're into wildlife watching, the Bird Buddy team unveiled these cool things called Wonder Blocks. They're stackable units that attract wildlife. Plus, they've got this new solar-powered camera to catch all the action. But here's what really caught my attention. Yarbo, the Swiss Army knife of yard robots. This thing is modular, so you can swap between a snowblower, leaf blower, or lawnmower. Speaking of lawn care, Segway's new Navimao is bringing some serious competition to the robotic mower game, promising quieter operation and simpler setup. The security front is getting pretty interesting too. Swan's new Extreme 4K camera isn't just another security cam, it's got AI that can tell the difference between friendly faces and potential threats. It'll even verbally greet your visitors or scare off intruders. And TCS is taking door locks to the next level with palm vein recognition. Just hover your hand and it reads your unique vein pattern to unlock. No more fumbling for keys or remembering codes. WeWalk showcased something that genuinely impressed me. An AI-powered smart cane for the visually impaired. This isn't just a basic walking aid. It can detect obstacles, sync up with navigation apps, and give turn-by-turn directions through voice feedback. It's the kind of tech that could really make a difference in people's daily lives. Speaking of AI companions, Elephant Robotics brought out this incredibly lifelike Meta Panda AI that had everyone doing double takes. Just imagine a robotic panda covered in artificial wool that can actually recognize both language and emotions. It's not just cute, it's surprisingly sophisticated. But what really caught my eye was this unassuming little device from Shenzhen ZFF Technology, the Jethro V1 AI mouse. At first glance, it looks like any other computer mouse, but it's packing some serious features: voice-to-text and real-time translation. It works completely offline. For anyone concerned about privacy while using AI tools, that's a pretty big deal. Alright, gamers and power users, this section's for you. Let's start with Razer's new Blade 16, an absolute monster. They've packed in the brand new NVIDIA RTX 5090 GPU and an AMD AI9 HX370 CPU, which is basically like stuffing a supercomputer into a laptop. But what really blew me away was the 240Hz OLED display and this clever new vapor chamber cooling system. If you're into high-end gaming, this is the kind of setup dreams are made of. Asus came out swinging with their latest ROG Strix Scar laptops. We're looking at both 16-inch and 18-inch versions, rocking these gorgeous 2.5K mini LED screens. They've maxed out the specs with next-gen Intel and NVIDIA GPUs, plus up to 64 GB of RAM. Seriously, these machines aren't just playing games, they're time-traveling from the future. And that wraps up our wild journey through Day 3 of CES 2025. Drop a comment below with your favorite reveal from today's coverage. I'd love to hear what caught your eye. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you in the next one.